Hello guys, welcome to EduTap. I am your mentor Prakash. I am a company secretary and a law graduate, and I hope you guys are preparing very well since notification has been released by the SEBI of SEBI Grade A Legal Officer Examination. Right? So we have started the discussion on previous year questions which was asked in 2020 in SEBI Grade A Legal Officer Examination, and we had started with phase 1. Right? So in yesterday's session we have discussed 15 questions. In today's session also we are going to discuss 15 more questions, and after finishing the phase 1 we will start with previous year questions asked in phase 2 of 2020 examination. So let's proceed. So friends, as you all aware that we have launched a practice 5000 plus MCQ course for paper 2 of SEBI Grade A Legal Officer Examination, which will cover the entire syllabus of phase 1 as well as phase 2. In this we are going to provide you chapter wise MCQs which is mentioned in the syllabus of your SEBI Grade A Legal Officer Examination, and you will get 500 free MCQs. For that you do not need to pay anything, right? So you can check your preparation level by solving these 500 plus MCQs, and after that if you find suitable you can buy this course, you can take this course, right? So if you want to know the details of this course you can refer the link given in the description box below. Let's proceed. Guys, before that, if you haven't subscribed our YouTube channel, then do subscribe our YouTube channel and join our Telegram channel as well to get the PDF of this session as well as to get the regular updates. Now let's start with today's discussion, right? So basically this is question number 16th because we have already discussed 15 questions in yesterday's session. So this is going to be the question number 16, right? So the first question is, the preamble of the Constitution of India was amended to incorporate which of the following? Your options are secular only, socialist only, secular and socialist, republic and socialist, or republic only. So what is the right answer for question number first? Guys, you have to participate in the session despite of the fact that you do not know the answer, because you are here expected to make all the mistakes and you are supposed to do not any mistake in your actual examination. That is why we are conducting this session, so that you can gain knowledge as well as you can do all mistakes which you can do here and you are not supposed to do in your actual examination, right? So what is going to be the right answer for question number first? So the right answer for question number first is option number C, that is secular and socialist. So through 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act, 3 words were introduced in the preamble. So first is secular, socialist, and third one you have to comment, right? I told you that this is 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act. So which was the third word which was incorporated into the preamble? That you have to comment in the comment section. Now let's move to the question number second. So question number second is, what is meant by nemo dat quod non habet in law, right? So basically this question was from the important Latin terms and maxims, right? This is the topic which is mentioned in the syllabus of your SEBI Grade A Legal Officer Examination. So what is the meaning of this maxim? Your options are: one can give only what he has or possesses. B, no proof of damage is required. Next is, the burden of proof is on the plaintiff. D, if he dies right to sue is gone, as none of the above, right? So which of the following is the correct option for question number second? Tell me guys. The right answer for question number second is option number A, that is one can give only what he has or possesses. Okay, so I hope you got the clarity. So this question was asked from the topic important terms and maxims. Now let's move to the question number third. So question number third is, when the Constitution of India came into force? You can see the nature of the question, you can see the depth of the question, as we have already discussed in yesterday's session that the main focus of discussing PYQs is to analyze the paper, analyze the question, what kind of questions are being asked in this examination, what is the depth of the topic which is covered in this examination. ठीक है, तो इससे आपको you have to set your approach to read any legislation, to study any legislation. ठीक है, so I hope you got the clarity. This we have already discussed yesterday. Those who have not watched the yesterday session, they can watch the yesterday session by referring the link mentioned in the description box below. So your options are 26 January 1949, 26 November 1949, 26 January 1951, 26 January 1950, or 26 November 1950. So what is the right answer for question number third? Guys, read the question properly, right? You have to always make this a habit that you have to read the question very carefully and you have to read the question at least twice. So when the Constitution of India came into force, this is the key word. So what is the right answer? The right answer is option number D, that is 26 January 1950. I hope everyone knows this fact, right? Now let's move to the question number 4th. So question number 4th is, which of the following best describes the term ad valorem? This is again the important terms and maxims. So your options are to annul something, to repeal a law, according to estimated value, right or ability to get into a property, or none of the above. So what is going to be the right answer for question number 4th? The right answer for question number 4th is option number C, that is according to estimated value. So the basic meaning of ad valorem is according to value. Question number 5th is, the term ab initio means. Guys, you can see here that the topic important terms and maxims, which is a part of your syllabus. We have till yet seen 3 questions from this topic, right? So you cannot underestimate any topic. जिसका वेटेज कम है आप उसको अंडर एस्टिमेट नहीं कर सकते. यू हैव टू प्रिपेयर एवरी टॉपिक, राइट? आपको सारे टॉपिक्स बहुत ही अच्छे से प्रिपेयर कर रहे हैं, बिकॉज यू डू नॉट नो हाउ मच क्वेश्चंस कैन बी आस्क्ड फ्रॉम एनी पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक. सो यू हैव टू प्रिपेयर एवरी टॉपिक. आपको कोई भी टॉपिक स्किप नहीं करना, राइट? यू आर नॉट सपोज्ड टू स्किप एनी टॉपिक मेंशन्ड इन द सिलेबस ऑफ योर एग्जामिनेशन. So question number 5th is, the term ab initio means. Your options are to do away with a problem, removal of a theory, gap in a theory, or void. D is from the beginning when something occurred, or E, none of the above. So what is the right answer for question number 5th? The right answer is option number D, that is from the beginning when something occurred. So this is the basic meaning of void ab initio, right? Generally we read in the law that this provision is void ab initio, that this contract is void ab initio. This means that it has void from the since the beginning, right, when something occurred. So I hope you got the clarity. Now let's move to the question number 6th. So question number 6th is, how is the place of arbitration determined? So your options are, the parties are free to agree on the place of arbitration, the arbitral tribunal shall determine only, then cumulative decision of parties as well as arbitrator at the time of each hearing, as per the decision of parties determined by arbitration agreement. And option E is none of the above. So which of the following is correct with respect to question number 6? That is the place of arbitration. Tell me, friends. So the right answer for question number 6 is option number A. The parties are free to agree on the place of arbitration. Right, guys? If you read section 20 of Arbitration and Conciliation Act, then you will get to know that the parties are free to agree the place of arbitration, right? And if parties do not agree, right, then in that case arbitral tribunals shall determine the place. But yeah, here statement is only, right? So this is not the only. In case the parties fail to determine the place of arbitration, then in that case arbitral tribunal can determine the place, right? So here the right answer is option number A, that is the parties are free to agree on the place of arbitration, right, friends? Now let's move to the question number 7th. So question number 7th is, which of the following is correct with respect to coverage of international commercial arbitration under Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996? So the options are, it is not covered under the Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996. Option number B, India does not support international commercial arbitration. Option number C, international commercial arbitration is carried out in India under separate legislation. Option number D, it is covered under the Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996. And option E is none of the above. So what is the right answer for question number 7? The right answer is option number D, that is it is covered under the Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996. Now let's move to the question number 8. So question number 8 is, when the Constitution of India was adopted? Guys, again read the question properly and read and highlight the keyword here, adopted, right? When the Constitution of India was adopted. So I hope you everyone know this. Your options are 26 November 1949, 26 November 1947, 26 Jan 1949, 26 Jan 1950, or 25th Jan 1951. So which of the following is correct? So the right answer for question number 8 is option number A, that is 26th November 1949, right? So every year on 26th November we celebrate Constitution Day, that is संविधान दिवस. ठीक है, क्योंकि इस दिन Constitution of India was adopted 26 November 1949. Now let's move to the question number 9th. So question number 9th is, which language is used by an arbitral tribunal in the arbitral proceedings? Right, your options are parties are free to determine. Option number B, arbitral tribunal shall determine only. Option number C, English only. Then D, language is mentioned in the Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996, or Hindi only. So which of the following is correct with respect to the language which is used by the arbitral tribunal in the arbitral proceedings? So the right answer is option number A, that is parties are free to determine, right guys? So if you read section 22 of Arbitration and Conciliation Act, so it is mentioned in that section, that is section 22, that is parties are free to determine the language which is to be used by an arbitral tribunal for arbitral proceedings. Right friends, I hope you got the clarity. Now let's move to the question number 10th. So question number 10th is, when can a lease be terminated? So this question is from the Transfer of Property Act. So your options are by efflux of time, by express surrender, by implied surrender, by forfeiture, or by or all of the above. So what is the right answer for question number 10th? Tell me friends. The right answer for question number 10th is option number E, that is all of the above. So lease can be terminated through all of the above. So if you read section 111 of Transfer of Property Act, then you will see all these provisions, all these modes related to termination of a lease, right friends? Now let's move to the question number 11th. So question number 11th is, what can a civil court do in case of resistance caused to execution of a decree by the judgment debtor? Right? So your options are: order that decree holder be put into possession of the property. Order, civil court can order detention to judgment debtor in the civil prison, which may extend to 60 days. Option number C is, civil court can order detention to judgment debtor in the civil prison, which may extend to 30 days. Option number D is A and C, and option number E is A and B. So what is the right answer for this question, question number 11? The right answer is option number D, that is A and C. So civil court can order detention to judgment debtor in the civil prison, which may extend to 30 days, as well as order that decree holder be put into possession of the property. So if you read section 74 of CPC, you will find this provision related to our resistance, related to civil court actions or civil court in case of resistance by judgment debtor, right friends? Now let's move to the question number 12. So question number 12 is, which of the following statement about acceptance is incorrect? Read the statement properly, read the options properly, then attempt that, right? So your options are: acceptance of any consideration for a reciprocal promise which may be offered with a proposal is an acceptance of the proposal. Next is, the acceptance must be absolute. The acceptance must be unqualified. D is, implied acceptance is not considered as a valid acceptance, or none of the above. So we have to mark the incorrect statement. Guys, you have to remember, make it a thumb rule that whenever you read the question, you have to ensure that whether correct or incorrect statement is asked, because sometimes question is about incorrect statement and we mark correct statement, right? So this you have to read properly, this you have to identify properly, then after identifying you have to mark the answer. So what is the right answer? Right means here the question is about incorrect statement. So which of the following is incorrect? So option number D is incorrect. That is, implied acceptance is not considered as a valid acceptance. This statement is incorrect. Right, friends? So if you see section 9 of our Indian Contract Act, you will find provisions related to this. Right, friends? This statement. So I hope you got the clarity. Now let's move to the question number 13. So question number 13 is, an agreement enforceable by law is a contract is discussed under which section of the Indian Contract Act 1872? Guys, this is what I'm saying, that you have to read the sections of important provisions, right? So whatever syllabus is mentioned, whatever topics, acts are mentioned in your syllabus, you have to read sections and provisions, and you have to remember sections as well as articles from our constitution of the important provisions, right? So आपको important provisions के sections as well as articles याद रखने हैं, because they are asked, they are frequently asked in the examination. Here this is the example, you can see that, right? So your options are section 2A, section 2B, section 2D, section 2H, or none of the above. So what is the right answer? The right answer is option number D, that is section 2H. So in 2H it is mentioned that an agreement enforceable by law is a contract, right? So this provision is discussed in section 2H of the Indian Contract Act 1872. Now let's move to the question number 14 then. So question number 14 is, which of the following is the mode for revocation of a proposal? So through which of the following mode proposal can be revoked, right? So your options are by the communication of notice of revocation by the proposer to the other party. Option number B, by the lapse of the time prescribed in such proposal for its acceptance, or if no time is so prescribed, by the lapse of reasonable time without communication of the acceptance. Then by the failure of the acceptor to fulfill a condition precedent to acceptance. Then by the death or insanity of the proposer, if the fact of his death or insanity comes to the knowledge of the acceptor before acceptance, or all of the above. So which of the following is the mode for revocation of proposal? Tell me friends, what is the right answer for question number 14? The right answer is option number E, that is all of the above, right? So if you read section 6 of Indian Contract Act, section 6 of Indian Contract Act, you will find the provisions related to revocation of proposal, right guys? Now let's move to the last question of the day, that is section 15. So section 15 is, A agrees to pay ₹1,000 if B will marry A's daughter C, but C was dead at the time of the agreement, right? So which type of agreement is it? I hope you got the statement. So guys, these kind of examples are sometimes asked from the, basically this is the illustration which is mentioned in the Bear Act, right? So you have to read the illustration as well, because illustrations are directly asked from the act. So you have to read, while reading the act, while covering the legislation, you have to read the illustration as well, because they are directly asked in the examination. So your options are wagering agreement, wagering contract, voidable contract, contingent contract, or none of the above. So which of the following is correct? Which of the following type of agreement is mentioned in the question? So this is contingent contract, right? This is contingent contract, and this is void since this is based on some impossible event, because at the time of agreement C was dead. So this agreement is void, right? But basically this is a contingent type of agreement. So I hope you enjoyed this session, you got the clarity regarding the type of questions. Again, I am repeating that the basic idea of these sessions are not to give you explanation or not to give you the answer. Rather, we are more focusing on analyzing the trend, analyzing the pattern, analyzing the nature, analyzing the depth of the questions which are asked from any particular topic. ठीक है, तो आपको इसी तरीके से आपको analyze करना है, and you have to approach the examination by covering these, because law को पढ़ने के there are various ways, right? You can adopt judiciary oriented approach as well, जिसमें आपको जुडिशियरी एग्जाम के लिए आप प्रिपेयर करते हैं. यू कैन हैव दिस अप्रोच एज वेल, और आप दूसरी अप्रोच भी रख सकते हैं. लॉ को पढ़ने के बहुत सारे तरीके होते हैं गाइस, ठीक है, बट हमें यहाँ पर जुडिशियरी ओरिएंटेड अप्रोच नहीं रखनी है, बिकॉज क्वेश्चन का जो नेचर है, क्वेश्चन का जो लेवल है, बहुत ज्यादा इन डेप्थ नहीं है. रादर बेसिक टू, यू कैन से इजी टू मॉडरेट लेवल के क्वेश्चन होते हैं, राइट? इजी टू मॉडरेट क्वेश्चन, बट कुछ डिफिकल्ट रहते हैं, बट आपको उन डिफिकल्ट के लिए नहीं जाना, बिकॉज द प्रोपोर्शन ऑफ डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चंस आर वेरी लेस. ठीक है, तो प्रोपोर्शन लेस है, यू हैव टू कवर द मोस्ट ऑफ द क्वेश्चंस. इफ यू कवर 90% ऑफ द क्वेश्चंस व्हिच आर फ्रॉम इजी टू मॉडरेट, then in that case you are going to clear this examination, right friends? So हमें यही अप्रोच रखनी है. मैं ये नहीं बोल रहा हूँ that you have to skip difficult questions, rather you have to attempt difficult questions. You have to read the provisions, like you can as you can attempt the difficult questions, but our approach should be to cover 90% of the questions. और वो कब आएगी? जब आप उसको इस अप्रोच से पढ़ेंगे, जो हम PYQs एनालाइज कर रहे हैं, तो आपको आइडिया लग चुका होगा व्हाट काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चंस आर आस्क्ड इन द सेबी ग्रेड ए लीगल ऑफिसर एग्जामिनेशन. सो आई होप यू एंजॉयड द सेशन. and we'll come up with another informative videos, another qualitative videos. Till then, goodbye and have a good day, friends.